Hey y'all, welcome back to Right at the Wire. Today we're going to update our Kentucky Derby Top 25 list. This last weekend we had a lot of nice performances that necessitated some additions, and we also had some defections from the list. Most of them were due to inactivity or injury. Cave Rock, Baffert hasn't transferred him to another barn, and he has no points at this point. Hasn't really worked out much, so I'm going to assume he's off the trail, so he's off the list. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. National Treasure contracted a foot injury and had to scratch from the San Felipe, and I'm going to guess that's going to interrupt his training sufficiently, so he's likely off the trail as well. It's too bad because I really like that horse. Hijazi has proven that he's not a two-turn horse, I think, from his subpar performance in the San Felipe. I highly doubt if they'd keep him on the trail. They haven't announced it yet, but I'm going to assume that's the case, so he's off the list. Arctic Arrogance. Lynn has contracted a virus in Linda Rice's barn with all her other horses, so I'm going to assume that's interrupted his training and that he won't be moving forward in the Wood Memorial. Of course, if there's any changes, we'll update accordingly, but right now I think it's better to just take him off the list and deal with what we have in terms of realistic contenders. So we'll take a look at them 5 at a time. Number 25 on the list is Congruent, the Battaglia Memorial winner that was done on synthetic surface. And as I've repeated ad nauseum, I'm not the biggest fan of this horse. I think he's highly inconsistent, and I don't think he's really a deserving Derby contender. But he did win the race. He may have enough points to be in the field, so he's on the list for now, but reluctantly. Because of all the defections and whatnot, we had to put him on. Number 24 is Cyclone Mischief. Will the real Cyclone Mischief stand up? We've had a schizophrenic colt this year. I mean, it's a good race, bad race. Last race, he was awful game in the Fountain of Youth. And, you know, the only problem with that is that we're just not sure he's going to sustain that and move forward in the Florida Derby. I'm sure he'll be there, and we'll just have to wait and see. But his performance last weekend does warrant getting on the list, I think. Number 23 is Slip Mahoney. In the Gotham, he didn't do badly, came from out of the clouds to get a second. I would have liked to have seen him a little more forwardly placed, and I think he's got some talent, and I'm not sure we saw it on full display because of the hot pace and whatnot. I definitely want to see more out of him in the Wood Memorial, but he did demonstrate he can compete at the stakes level, and I thought that was the most important thing to get out of the Gotham, so he makes the list. Number 22 is Cain because he won the Gotham. The two of them, it was a one-turn race, but it was a stakes race, and they did get the requisite points that likely will put them in the Derby field. I think they've got to show it around 2 turns, particularly Cain, but they're on the list because they did factor pretty well in that race. Number 21 is Litigate, the Sam F. Davis winner. I'm not sure how good he really is. I guess we're going to find out this Saturday in the Tampa Derby. He's going to have his hands full with Tapit Trice to be sure, but he makes the list. Number 20 is Jace's Road. I don't know where he's going to show up next. I'm going to guess it's either the Louisiana Derby or the Arkansas Derby. He's kind of running out of time, but he has shown enough talent in the past that he stays in the top 20. But if we don't see him pretty soon, he'll be off the list. Number 19 is Mage. He broke a little slowly in the Fountain of Youth, but he performed very well. And for his first race around 2 turns in his first stakes race, I think he did a heck of a job, and really excited to see what he's going to do in the Florida Derby. So showed a lot of promise, so he makes the list. Number 18 is Confidence Game. I think, as I've noted, I think we've seen the best out of him that we're going to see. I thought the Rebel Stakes was, the mud was a big assist for him. Drifting out in the stretch on the wrong lead. I'm not sure how much more this one can give. But it was a win, and he makes the list for that reason because he's probably going to be in the Derby, and we'll see how he does in the Arkansas Derby. Number 17 is Tapits Conquest. He's running out of time. He's got to perform well in the Louisiana Derby, or I think that his trail has come to an end. We know he's got some talent. I think it's more between the ears than it is anything else. But there's definitely talent there, and I'm hoping he makes a big spring forward in his next effort. Number 16 is Blazing Sevens. As we noted in our recap, Chad Brown was very honest about this one, said he wasn't tuned up all the way. It was definitely a race that he needed in his training. So we'll likely get a lot better version of him in the Florida Derby. I would have liked to see him do a little better than he did because he was a complete non-factor. But by all accounts, there's some talent there, and we'll just have to see if he's built from his 2-year-old form. But he makes the list. Number 15 is Sun Thunder. He had a really nice closing second in the Risen Star, and he appears to be on the right track, moving forward. He's getting better with every race, and I think he's got to work out a way to get a little more forwardly placed to really factor. But he definitely seems to be on the right track, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got in this next race. Number 14 is Skinner. He's kind of a carbon copy of Sun Thunder in some ways. He validated that big maiden win he had to start his 3-year-old campaign with a nice effort in the San Felipe. I would have liked to see what he could have done unencumbered. I mean, Hijazi swinging out like that kind of impeded his progress, but I'm not sure he was going to be practical move that day, but maybe it would have got him into second or made it closer. But I think the San Anita Derby, if he takes another move forward, he becomes a prime player. Same thing with Rocket Can. He's on the right track. He made another step forward in the Fountain of Youth. Certainly wasn't going to beat Forte. I don't think anybody was in that field. But he had a really nice effort, stayed with it, got a nice second. And if he makes another jump, again, he can be a serious player. Number 12 is Go Rocket Ride. Kind of like Mage, his second effort off a maiden, right into graded stakes company around 2 turns, and he did not disappoint. He ran a really nice race. He was up along the pace the whole way, stuck with it, got a little benefit from Hijazi swinging out, but he stayed on, and he was very competitive in the race. And hopefully he'll make another move in the San Felipe with Dick Mandel as his trainer. I think that's highly likely. Number 11 is Hit Show. We'll see him in the Wood Memorial, I think, next. But he hasn't done anything wrong in New York. It just seems like the fields aren't the greatest there. So as long as he continues to win professionally like he's been doing, then all we really can ask is he just takes another move forward to, in my mind, to be a more serious Derby contender. But he's doing pretty well, and he's definitely one of the better 3-year-olds right now. Okay, we've reached our top 10. Number 10 is Tapit Trice. He has yet to perform at stakes level competition, but his outings this year have really been impressive, and there's clearly a lot left in the tank for us to see. The last effort in the allowance race was really solid. It wasn't around 2 turns, that's the only question, but his pedigree warrants that. I don't think that's going to be a problem for him. He's a little slow to get going. That's one kind of knock I have on him, and he is a Tapit, so maturity is always a question, but I think there's a lot of talent there, and we'll see what he does in the Tampa Derby. Looking forward to seeing it. Number 9 is Verifying. Yes, the Rebel was a little disappointing. However, kind of a questionable ride on Florent Giroux's part, and given the prior allowance race that Verifying, he took care of Gun Pilot pretty easily. To start his 3-year-old campaign, I think there's definitely talent here, and I think he has more to give. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in the Arkansas Derby. I think we'll see an improved horse for sure. 2 fills at number 8. He just keeps battling right along. He's not spectacular, but he's always there at the end. And he's performed admirably against Stakes Company. I don't know how much more he's got to give, but he does continue to improve. And he is definitely a contender in any stakes race on the Derby Trail so far. So he's number 8. Reincarnate number 7. I think we were all a little let down by the Rebel Stakes, but I think it showed his versatility, the fact that he can come from behind and he can win on the lead. I think that's a really good quality to have in these races. I think there's, his buyers indicate that he has the requisite speed. He certainly has the stamina. So I think he's one who could go up or down on the list depending upon what he does next. But right now he's number 7, and I think he's one of the better 3-year-olds. Number 6 is Angel of Empire. Granted that Risen Star, the 87 buyer, was a little light. But this is based more on what I think is left in the tank for this one. I think this one has potential to improve. He continues to get better, and I think he's one of Brad Cox's better 3-year-olds. It's turning out. So we'll see what happens in the Arkansas Derby. But I like his chances to, or if he goes to Louisiana Derby, I don't know which one. But I like his chances to compete in either of them, and he's number 6. Okay, our top 5. November 5 is Red Route 1. It's been belabored, his running style being an impediment to him actually winning a Derby prep, but you have to consider him to be one of the better ones. He's had 2 consecutive nice second place efforts. Until they get him forwardly placed, though, I think it's highly unlikely he'll win a race. But he's certainly doing it right, and he's certainly improving. So he's number 5. Number 4 is Instant Coffee. Can't wait to see him in the Louisiana Derby. Had a really nice Lecomte, and that race has been flattered by the horses under him competing and winning other stakes races. So he's he's a grinder. He's nothing spectacular, but he gets the job done, and he's number 4. Number 3 is Practical Move. Had a really nice San Felipe to debut his 3-year-old campaign. He did get a ground-saving trip on the rail, and he was benefited a little bit by that swing out by Hijazi. But you can't deny it was a solid effort. He looks very comfortable around 2 turns. I do wonder what's going to happen when the distances get a little longer. I can't get past that. Practical Joke being his sire, he doesn't get 2-turn horses too often. So this one may outrun that. But he looks pretty good so far. Number 2 is Arabian Night. He's going to be another defection from the list pretty soon if we don't see him. I don't know where he's going to show up next, but you can't deny that Southwest Stakes was a thing of beauty. And granted, he's definitely one of the top 3-year-olds if and when he runs again on the Derby Trail. Number 1 is Forte. We got that effort we've all been waiting for, the spectacular Fountain of Youth. I don't even think he was tuned up all the way, and he still had a really impressive turn of foot in a really nice race. It was obvious that Irad Ortiz could push the button and do as he pleased. That horse has definitely grown and improved since 3 years old, and really looking forward to seeing his next effort, whether it be the Derby or the Florida Derby. I haven't heard exactly which yet. Hopefully he'll get another prep in him before the Derby. I think that would be advisable, but that's just me. But yeah, he's clearly the leading 3-year-old right now and the favorite to win the Kentucky Derby, so he is our number 1. So that's our updated top 25 list, and I know lists of that nature often inspire contrary opinions, so please feel free to let me know your feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. I always enjoy hearing from you guys. I appreciate it. We will have a video later this week on the Tampa Derby where we're going to see Tapit Trice in a stakes race, and a really promising colt. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. And if you are new to us here, welcome. Thanks for coming by. And if you like what you see here, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It does help us bring content to you, which we really enjoy doing. So I'll be talking to you later this week, and until then, be well.